Top 100 MLB Players of 2019. Latest scores, videos, photos in terms of challenges, ranking the top 100 players in baseball as one of the more enjoyable ones. That doesn't mean it's easy. The incredible innovations of resources like Baseball Reference, Baseball Savant, Fangraphs and Brooks Baseball offer us more data than we'll ever need. Analyzing that data allows us to place every player in the right context. Using a weighted 3-year WAR formula pioneered by former C.com writer Jay Jaffe in 2018 and updated by MLB Players in 2019, the SI staff landed on a list of the top 100 players for the 2019 season after several days of animated discussion. This ranking is for the top players in the game entering the season. All of us would rather have Ronald Acuna than Lorenzo Cain for the next 5 years, but Cain is probably a more valuable piece for the upcoming season. And, before you ask, yes, we think that is the right ranking for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The committee was comprised of 8 experts: Stephanie Epstein, Emma Batulieri, Gabriel Baumgartner, Michael Beller, Jack Dickey, Connor Grossman, Tristan DeYoung and John Taylor. They all have Twitter accounts should you have disagreements with the final rankings. Graphic designer Jorge Ruiz created the stylish player cards accompanying each entry. Let's go. Like winter or Gabo, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is coming. When he arrives, he's poised to deliver some serious thunder. Consider what he accomplished at AA New Hampshire and AAA Buffalo last year at 19 years old, .402, .449, .671 at the former, .336, .414, .564 at the latter, and just one fewer whack than strikeouts combined. And he was doing this against pitchers anywhere from 5 to 10 years his senior. The son of a Hall of Famer who was one of the best natural hitters of his era, Vladito promises to be a special player immediately, even if he should have debuted last year. John Taylor, the big number 2, only 2 hitters in the 21st century have gotten 500 or more plate appearances in their age 20 season and put up an OPS of 125 or better, Jason Hayward and Mike Trout. Bet on Vlad Jr. becoming the third. Jose Abreu had the worst year of his career last year, and still managed to hit .265, .325, .473 with 22 homers, 36 doubles and 78 RBIs. Abreu is largely overlooked because he isn't a superstar and has spent his career playing for a dreadful White Sox team. He will remain one of the league's most under-the-radar threats. Michael Beller, big number, .221, Abreu's career isolated slugging percentage. Since 2014, he's one of 5 active players with an ISO above .220 and a strikeout rate lower than 20%. The others? Anthony Rizzo, Josh Donaldson, Edwin Encarnacion and Nolan Arenado. Charlie Morton was once a middling ground ball pitcher with serious injury problems. After signing with the Astros in 2017, he raised his velocity 4 miles per hour. Since he, in his words, just tried to throw harder, he became a strikeout machine, postseason hero and one of the best pitchers in baseball. Regardless of whether you credit Astros player development or believe in his ability to stay healthy, the reality is his numbers aren't indicating any slowdown even after his off-season move to the Rays. Tristan DeYoung, the big number, 10.83, Morton's strikeouts per 9 innings in 2018, higher than Luis Severino, Aaron Nola and Corey Kluber. In his last season as a full-time starter before joining Houston, his K9 rate was 6.7 for the Pirates in 2015. The Madison Bumgarner of October 2014 is gone, and even the Bumgarner of 2016 seems like a distant memory. That's the last time he pitched a full season. Last season he fractured his hand in the last game of spring training and in 2017 endured the infamous dirt bike crash that shelved him for 2 months. It's hard to know what to expect from Bumgarner right now, but he'll lack no motivation in a contract year. Connor Grossman, the big number, -2.4. Bumgarner's strikeouts per 9 innings decreased from 10 in 2016 to 7.6 in 2018, trending the wrong direction in tandem with other peripheral categories like walks per 9 and strikeout-to-walk ratio. Here's a weird one. Jackie Bradley Jr. won his first Gold Glove in 2018. Sure, you can pick apart the rest of his game, streakiness at the plate, with otherwise solid production broken up by truly dreadful cold spells loaded with strikeouts, but his center field defense, it's beyond unimpeachable. Fresh Gold Glove acquisition aside, at this point Bradley is what he is. A smooth glove offsets a temperamental bat. And, hey, when the bat is hot, it's now demonstrated that it can earn him an ALCS MVP. Bachelier, the big number, 17, JBJ has flashed his speed in center for years, of course, but last season was the first time that he really did so on the bases. He'd never had more than 10 stolen bases until 17 in 2018. Jose Berrios' curveball isn't too flashy, the drop isn't extreme and the spin rate won't jump out from a leaderboard. But man, it is so good. Berrios leaned on it more often as his outpitch in 2018, and he got even better results. In his second full season in the big leagues, Berrios improved his strikeout-to-walk ratio, boosted his ground ball rate and shaved a bit off his ERA. He gave up more home runs and endured more hard contact, but it was an overall step forward for the 24-year-old hurler. At the big number, 2, Berrios' 2 complete games last year were tied for the most in baseball, an honor that he shared with just 5 other pitchers. It was the first season in baseball history in which no pitcher threw 4 or more, which, if that's not a sign of the times. If he reads this, David Price will likely feel some joy and some resentment at being ranked this low. He relishes the role of the lone hero and proved many wrong in the 2018 playoffs, when he went from worst postseason starter in history to World Series champion. Adjusted his changeup grip and his arm slot while warming up before Game 4 of the ALCS. From that day on, he had a 1.37 ERA and .152 batting average against in 19.2 innings. If his adjustments stick, Price could be an excellent number 2 starter. Stephanie Epstein, the big number, 8.7 strikeouts per 9 innings after Price's mid-playoffs adjustments. That number had been 7.96 in postseason appearances with the Red Sox. Miles Mikolas flamed out of MLB after spending parts of 3 seasons with the Padres and Rangers before excelling in Japan for 3 years. That earned him enough of the Cardinals' attention to sign a contract. He made the most of it, amassing a 2.83 ERA and 1.07 WHIP across 202 thirds innings, winning 18 games and being selected for the All-Star game. He doesn't walk anyone, keeps the ball on the ground and in the yard, a surefire recipe for success for any pitcher. MBTHE big number, 3.6%. Mikolas's walk rate last year, best in the league in 2018 and 11th best for a full season over the last 10 years. Jesus Aguilar led all of AAA in home runs from 2014 through 2016, which is a little like being the best student in driver's ed, a nice accomplishment to earn once, but it starts to feel damning if you've been stuck in the classroom long enough to collect it thrice. He finally got a chance to demonstrate his power at the big league level when he was picked up by the Brewers in 2017. After 16 home runs in his rookie season in 2017, Aguilar leveled up with 35 in 2018. The 28-year-old also dropped his strikeouts, boosted his walks, and pulled the ball more. At this level, he just might keep cruising for a while. Ebbets big number, 2, 17 of his 35 home runs last year, came when he had 2 strikes against him. There's so much to like from German Marquez. If he pitched anywhere but Colorado, the 23-year-old would be considered a top asset going forward. If he can limit damage from lefties and continue to sharpen his control, Marquez could be an ace for the Rockies. As it stands, his traditional numbers will always be a bit high. He had a 2.85 ERA on the road and a 4.74 ERA at home, but in terms of stuff and potential, Marquez compares well to other young, ascending pitchers. TJTHE big number, .186, .254, .337. Looking at Marquez's splits against righties in 2018, is an astonishing line for a second-year pitcher who starts half his games in Coors Field. It wasn't long ago that Carlos Martinez was considered the Cardinals' ace for the foreseeable future. And then, on August 21 until the end of the season, Martinez operated only out of relief. There have long been concerns regarding Martinez's usage, so St. Louis moved him to the bullpen to protect his ailing shoulder. He's a question mark entering this season, but if he's healthy he should return to his high strikeout dominant ways. Gabriel Baumgartner the big number, 4.55. Martinez's 4.55 walks per 9 innings in 2018 was a stark rise from his career rate of 3.2. He's always been a bit erratic, but he won't be able to sustain that kind of stress on his arm if he doesn't improve his accuracy. Scooter Gennett probably didn't expect to find himself on this list a couple years ago. Yet here he is, having blossomed into a middle-of-the-order bat since joining the Reds in 2017. The team clearly believes in him, too. They traded top infield prospect Chet Long this offseason, clearing the way for Gennett to remain at second. CGTHE big number, .358. A pinch of luck never hurt anyone. Gennett had the 7th highest batting average on balls in play in 2018, which may stir a little skepticism into his recent emergence. For what it's worth, MVP's JD Martinez and Christian Yelich led baseball in BABIP. After adding a cutter and improving his slider last offseason, Blake Trinan compiled one of the greatest campaigns by a relief pitcher in history, 0.78 ERA, 38 saves with the A's. The combination of a 97 mph sinking fastball, 95 mph cutter and an 89 mph slider is too much for most hitters to handle. TJTHE big number, 27.95%. Trinan's slider is the definition of nasty. A rate of nearly 28% is ridiculous, and it's turned the right-hander into one of the game's top closers. Kyle Freeland might be my favorite example of a pitcher who can thrive in this era of launch angles, exit velocities and high strikeouts. While still averaging 93 mph on his fastball, Freeland effectively alternates between 4 pitches and keeps hitters off balance with his cutter. According to Brooks Baseball, StatCast thinks of it as a slider. He allowed a 28.9% hard hit rate from opponents last year, better than soft contact specialists Trevor Bauer, Miles Mikolas and Kyle Hendricks. If your idea of a great pitcher looks like Greg Maddux, Freeland is an absolute treat to watch. GB the big number, 2.40. Freeland's home era in 2018. Whether it's sorcery or merely genius, a 2.40 ERA at Coors Field over 93 2/3 innings is a phenomenal accomplishment. The save isn't just time-worn, it's a downright fusty throwback to simpler and more statistically primitive years. That doesn't mean you can't appreciate that Edwin Diaz had 57 saves in 2018. 57. Only Francisco Rodriguez in 2008 had more. Even more insane, close to half, 27 of those 57, involved protecting a lead of a single run. No one has ever had more saves with 1 run, and he'll need to replicate that success trying to protect the lacking Mets offense. Sure, you can use some more fashionable numbers to prove his excellence in 2018. The 44.3% strikeout rate, for instance, which registered as the 6th highest of all time. The 208 ERA. The 99 mph fastball. But 57 saves? 57 saves. At the big number, .121, that was opponent's batting average against Diaz's slider, his nastiest pitch in 2018. Yikes. The 3 true outcomes, home run, walk, strikeout, are in vogue, and Chris Davis fits the mold as well as anyone in baseball. He strikes out more often than most, but hits the absolute snot out of the ball. It's pretty hard to complain about the performance of the majors' home run king in 2018. CGTHE big number, 133, no one has hit more home runs over the past 3 seasons than Davis. Trailing the A's slugger are Giancarlo Stanton, 124, Nolan Arenado, 116, and J.D. Martinez, 110, to name a few. Dallas Keuchel, with a fastball and sinker that average around 90 miles per hour, is not one of this era's many power arms. In a time when 17 starters produced swinging strikes on at least 13% of their pitches in 2018, Keuchel only achieved 8.3%. The fact that Keuchel does not possess the traits that have become common in the game today has seemingly convinced fans that he does not belong among the game's best starters. But he does. More than half of the balls put in play against him wind up on the ground, ready for well-positioned defenders to gobble them up. So what if it's not as sexy as a strikeout? Jack Dickey the big number, 950 and a third. Over the last 5 seasons, only 7 pitchers have thrown more innings than Keuchel with an ERA as good or better than Keuchel's 121. Max Scherzer, Corey Kluber, Zach Greinke, John Lester, Justin Verlander, Chris Sale, and Cole Hamels. It's a nice club to be in. Similar to teammate Madison Bumgarner, it's hard to pencil in the kind of season Buster Posey is headed toward after season-ending hip surgery. The 32-year-old former MVP expects to have a bit more juice in his swing after hitting just 5 home runs in 448 plate appearances last year, but playing at pitcher-friendly Oracle Park does him no favors. CGTHE big number, 10. If nothing else, Posey remains a defensive stalwart behind the plate. 10 defensive run save, rated second in the big leagues among peers who caught 750-plus innings in 2018. Yes, he's 36 and heading to a team that's seen plenty of former stars slump with age. But Robinson Cano's bat remains a weapon, even if his defensive production is increasingly limited. Despite missing 80 games because of a violation of the MLB drug policy, Cano managed 3.2 WAR and a .303, .374, .471 line in 80 games. A 136 OPS is the hallmark of a stud hitter, and that's what Cano managed in the hitter's graveyard that is Seattle. His swing is still among the prettiest that baseball has ever seen. GB the big number, 93.1. Cano's average exit velocity in 2018, higher than J.D. Martinez, Chris Davis and Christian Yelich, the 3 of whom combined for 127 homers in 2018. Last year, Craig Kimbrell racked up 42 saves and struck out 96 in 62 and a third innings, and that was a step down from an absurd 2017, when he posted a 1.74 ERA and punched out 126 batters in 69 frames. Despite a shaky end to last season, the right-hander still boasts a nuclear-powered fastball that flies in at 97 to 99 miles per hour, or a slicing slider against which batters hit .082, with a swing and miss rate of 56.1%. When Kimbrell is on, he's untouchable. JT the big number, 333. Not only is Kimbrell the active leader in career saves, but he's also already top 15 all-time in that category. No pitcher has compiled more career saves through his age 30 season than Kimbrell. After arm injuries slowed Jameson Taillon's progress through the minors, a testicular cancer diagnosis interrupted his 2017 season. Cancer-free and arm injuries in the rear view, Taillon pitched to a 3.20 ERA and 1.18 WHIP with 170 strikeouts in 191 innings in 2018. It took longer for him to get here than expected, but Taillon has arrived. MPTHE big number, 1.47 and 30.1%, Taillon's ground ball to fly ball ratio and hard hit rate, respectively. He was one of 7 pitchers in the top 15 in both metrics that indicate how well a pitcher controls damage on balls in play. Jay Jaffe is old school. For years he relied on variety and pitch mix to get the job done, enough over the last 3 seasons to earn him another $34 million from the Yankees. But Hap has adapted to the game as he's gotten older by throwing harder now than he did 10 years ago, pounding righties inside and making a concerted effort to gain movement and direction on his fastball. It's strange for a 36-year-old lefty to transition into a power pitcher this late in his career, but that's what happened. The Yankees are hoping for. TJTHE big number, 193. Hap set a career high with 193 strikeouts last season, 30 more than his previous career high. There's no better stat to illustrate the depth of plate discipline than Hap nearing 200 strikeouts in a season at age 35. Brian Cashman has built many general managers during his distinguished career, but acquiring Aaron Hicks from the Twins for backup catcher John Ryan Murphy may be his crowning achievement. Murphy played 26 games for the Twins. Hicks has 50 homers over 3 seasons in New York and remains one of the top defensive outfielders in baseball. He doesn't have the glitz of Aaron Judge or Giancarlo Stanton, but Hicks is a complete player whose speed and power make him one of the game's most underrated outfielders. GB the big number, 15.5%. Hicks's walk rate has improved every season since he's arrived in New York, and his 15.5% mark was good for 5th in baseball, ahead of Jose Ramirez, Matt Carpenter and Alex Bregman. In 2018, Michael Brantley played his first generally healthy season in 4 years, and he looked like a slightly slower version of his old self. He slashed .309, .364, .468 line across 631 plate appearances and is a wonderful fit in Houston's flexible lineup. If Brantley proved anything last year, it's that he still has plenty of great baseball left in the tank. MPTHE big number, 1,136 and a third. Brantley's innings logged in the outfield last year, his most since 2014. It's hard to make this list with 150 innings pitched in your rookie season, but Jack Flaherty really was that good last year. The stats are all outstanding, a 3.08 strikeout to walk ratio and 3.34 ERA at age 23 will go a long way to earning trust with the Cardinals front office. The only thing holding him back is inexperience. After cruising through the summer, Flaherty faded in September. He will still slot in at number 2 or no. 3 in the St. Louis rotation. TJTHE big number, 1.13, over 32 innings. Flaherty's 1.13 ERA in August was spectacular. He also had 38 strikeouts and walked just 9 batters. So how does one follow up the most dominant season from a reliever ever? It won't be easy for Josh Hader to replicate the brilliance he trotted out of Milwaukee's bullpen last year in the late innings, or the 6th inning, or the 4th. All eyes will be on the 24-year-old southpaw in 2019, from the innings he's deployed into the velocity he brings after an extended workload in 2018 to the content of his social media accounts. CGTHE big number, 17, that's the number of outings Hader allowed 0 hits and struck out at least 3 batters. The previous record was 13 by Brad Ledge, according to Jason Stark of The Athletic. Taylor struck out in a ghastly 29.5% of his plate appearances last year, 178 total, which led the National League, and his average dropped from .288 to .254. His defensive abilities across the infield and in the outfield make him an extremely valuable piece for the Dodgers, but the league appeared to identify his tendencies last season. GB the big number, 40%. Taylor was caught stealing on 40% of his stolen base attempts last season after being nabbed just 20% of the time in 2017. Worse, he stole just 9 bases in 2018 after swiping 17 in 2017. The 28-year-old right-hander refined his command and improved the whiff rate on his fastball in 2018. A 145 ERA bumped Mike Clevinger's career figure up to 132, which makes him one of just 70 pitchers ever to open the first 3 seasons of their career with such a high figure over at least 300 IP. He sits sandwiched on that leaderboard between Fernando Valenzuela and Babe Ruth. It's hard to ask for more than that. Ebith big number, 200-ish, 200 IP, 207 kiloseconds, one combination of durability and performance that feels increasingly special nowadays. Like a modern-day Nuke Lelouch, Walker Buehler announced his presence with authority in last season's playoffs, punching out 29 batters in 23 2/3 frames, including 7 shutout innings against Boston in Game 3 of the World Series. That was the exciting cap on an already brilliant season, a 2.62 ERA, 151 strikeouts in 137 1/3 innings, and a 148 ERA. The former first-round pick and Vanderbilt product looks structurally unsound at 6 feet 2 inches and 175 pounds, but his stuff is pure power, a four-seam fastball that sits at 96 miles per hour, a pair of wicked breaking balls in his slider and curve, and a hard sinker that batters hit just .217 against. Just 24 years old, expect to see Buehler's name soar on next year's list. JT the big number, 27.9%. Buehler's strikeout rate would have ranked 12th in the majors if he'd pitched enough innings to qualify for the ERA title, ahead of Aaron Nola, Corey Kluber, and Jose Barrios, to name just a few. Wisecracking ex-Mets GM Sandy Alderson explained in December 2017 that his impecunious then club wasn't pursuing Giancarlo Stanton because with Brandon Nimmo in right field, we just didn't feel that we had a need there. This, to be clear, was not prophecy but a swipe at Nimmo, who had been Alderson's first-rounder with the Mets in 2011, and whom Alderson would block from the starting lineup, despite his career .380 OBP in the minors and majors by signing the feckless Jay Bruce 1 month later. A lot can change in 14 months. Bruce is in Seattle, Alderson is in Oakland, and Nimmo, not so improbably after all, is on this list. JD the big number, .404, Nimmo's on-base percentage in 2018, 4th overall behind Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and Joey Votto. Okay, it was aided by a league-leading 22 hit-by-pitches, but still, Nimmo's otherworldly plate discipline should have him among league leaders here for a while. Gleyber Torres made a strong case for Rookie of the Year honors after hitting .271, .340, .480 with 24 homers, a 118 OPS, and 2.9 BWAR in 123 games, but lost out to two-way phenom Shohei Ohtani. Torres is still a baby at 22 years old, but his tape measure home runs and effortless power suggest that he's strong beyond his years. It's not all perfect. The Venezuelan infielder has too much swing and miss in his game and could stand to make more contact. But when he connects, the ball goes a long way, making him a dangerous man in an already loaded New York lineup. JT the big number, .543, Torres crushed fastballs last year, slugging nearly .600 against them and bopping 18 of his 24 homers on heaters. Peer deeper into Marcell Ozuna's outstanding 2017 season and you'll discover some predictors of his 2018 regression. A .355 batting average on balls in play was not sustainable, it shrunk to .309 in 2018, and his .340 average at home in spacious Marlins Park was suspiciously high, it fell to .299 in his first season at Busch Stadium. What was most concerning was Ozuna's power outage. After belting 37 homers in 2017, he managed just 23 in 2018, part of a season where he regressed in every major hitting category except strikeout percentage. Perhaps it was a blip, but Ozuna is not the expected MVP candidate that he was entering last season. GB the big number, 415, the average distance, in feet, that an Ozuna home run traveled in 2018, good for 5th among hitters with at least 300 batted ball events. When he connects, it goes plenty far. Despite entering his age 33 season and coming off 2 injury-plagued campaigns, Josh Donaldson can still be a quality player, when he is, in fact, playing. The Braves gave Donaldson a 1-year, $23 million deal, one that makes sense for both sides. Even in Donaldson's 113-game 2017, he put up 5.1 fWAR and had 33 home runs. His bat is declining, but if he settles into an .860 to .880 OPS, Donaldson still belongs on this list. TJT